Hello again, this is Peter here. This is the 10th of October 2025, and I saw something today which was, I think, worth recording. It deals with a number of issues. The reason why it prompted my attention is this picture that you see here is one that I produced in last year, in May last year. And I think I may have some text that goes with it, but I thought it was kind of pertinent to the situation that's happening in the UK at the moment with the police. I don't. For those of you who've been following the news in the UK, you will understand what's been going on, and for some of you who may not be aware, that there is such a thing as what's called two-tier policing, and I'll need to explain that. Basically, the police, the government treat people differently according to their demographic, and the Muslims are a group that the government and the police have been treating differently than the rest of the population. I think at the moment they're dealing with a situation about is what's called Islamophobia, which is it's a strange title because phobias don't exist. A phobia is a fear of irrational fear. Well, you can't really call Islamophobia something that's real. You can't really call Islamophobia a phobia because the reason why people are afraid is because of the very real threat of Islamic terrorism. And that's not a phobia, that's real. And phobias are not real. But anyway, the situation is that this thing called two-tier policing. And since the terrible massacre in 2023, October the 7th, this terrible massacre of Jewish people, and then we saw these terrible things that are happening around the world, people celebrating the murder of Jewish people. Is awful, horrendous. And ever since then, this protests, Palestinian protests have been going on in London, and from the river to the sea, singing river to the sea and all the rest of it. I mean, on and on and on, these Palestinian protests have been going on. And, we've seen the police treating the protesters, the left-wing protesters, socialist, Muslim, whatever you call it, differently. Now, when there's what they would say, the right wing, which is a bit of basically for a lot of people, they're not right wing. They're just ordinary British citizens who are frustrated with the situation that's going on. The police do treat people differently depending on their demographic, so it is noticeable now. It's the police, they can deny it whatever they like, but it's the truth as far as many people go in the UK, and you can see it with the way that they send people down in the courts. You can see this two-tier policing, two-tier justice. There's a difference the way they treat people. Now, anyway, getting back to this image, well, I produced it last year, and of course, when I produce these images, I post them in different places. I mean, and this one took on a life of its own. I mean, I may have made a text to go with it, but I'll just show you this. This is somebody posted this today, Mary Keane. Now, she's got a hold of this image somewhere, and I've also seen this image, the same image, cropping up in other places since I posted it last year. Now, what they've done is they've cropped the text which I had on my image. My image, I've got London 2024, and now they cropped that bit off and they just have it without, which is fair enough. I mean, I'm not and not bothered about if people want to use it. You know, just crop the top off, that's fine. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I may have signed it, I don't know, but I'm easy with it. If people want to use it, they find it helpful to share, that's fine, that's great with me. But it's interesting for me because of all the pictures that I produced, I've been doing these AI pictures for about 2 years now. I think maybe more. And I've done lots, but this picture seems to be one that keeps cropping up, which you know, draws my attention. Now, why is it drawing my attention? Well, what this lady has put is UK police looking for recruits with tough knees. I mean, a picture says a thousand words, doesn't it? I mean, there's lots of people commenting here. Let's just have a look. So it gives you a sense of what people are saying in the UK. It would be funny, but it's serious. Exactly what's happening. Sadly, not wrong. Scandal. Yes, they're being led by the nose by the Taliban. Australia too. So true and obvious. Sadly true. Sad. So true. What has happened to that great country? Funny, but why the Taliban? Sorry. Funny, but why the turbans? Sikhs are not an issue. Well, that's true. Sikhs have turbans, but also the Taliban. They have turbans as well, so they have a different type of turban. I think the chap in the image, he's got a Taliban type turban, not a Sikh turban. A Sikh turban is a bit different than the one that's actually in this image. But anyway, so what else? Totally failed at life. Then why not blame a foreigner? Well, you see, there's you got both sides of the aisles here commenting. Somebody said here, you want to speak to the people of Thailand. So, yeah, asylum in Thailand, it's saying. Before you come to Thailand, you should know that the Royal Thai government does not have an asylum system for the protection of refugees. Anyone without a valid visa is at risk of detention. Well, that's what should be happening in the UK and the Western nations, which they apparently don't seem to have anymore. So people are making different comments here. You know, a lot of strong feelings being expressed. You know, Enoch was right. Well, he was. I was 8 years of age when Enoch made his famous Rivers of Blood speech, and I have to say he was right. You know, and the sad thing is, it's not. We're seeing it come into fruition. Whether it'll be exactly like Rivers of Blood, like it's a quite. I think he's quoting some famous Roman orator or writer or somebody, the Rivers of Blood, the Tiber. But the people are talking about civil war, so I mean, we hope and pray that it doesn't get to that point. But Enoch was right what he said. You know, it's still, things are unfolding, sadly. And you know, recently, it was last week, there was an attack on the Jewish synagogue in Manchester, with an Islamist attacked it, and people got killed. One man was knifed, and it was a terrible tragedy. An Islamist, you know, radicalized, you know, and you could see that blood was on the streets. And anybody that say that Enoch was right, they need to go and see the news, you know. So that is just the journey of this image. I mean, it's cropped up in other places. I've seen it posted. People have got hold of the image, but I have no idea how people get hold of the image. Somehow they have a life of their own. It's like, almost like a message in a bottle, you know. People used to throw from the ships in the olden days, used to throw a message in the bottle, hoping it would arrive at some destination or somebody would read it. But my messages in a bottle are a little bit different. They go via the internet. So I thought it was worth sharing this and taking note of this. Why of all the pictures that I have produced is this one keep cropping up? That is the question I want to leave you, the viewer. Why is this image keep cropping up? Of all the images, now I've produced, I don't know, maybe hundreds since over the past 2 years. So why is this one? And that it's resonating with so many people with what is happening in the UK. And if you know, watching the news and everything, you will understand. Right from the grooming gang situation, it beggars belief what's happened, and it's not just a couple of years. You're talking about decades of vulnerable working class white girls that have been abused and raped by groups of Muslim men, and they say it's on an industrial scale. It's not me saying that. It's there. It's out there in the public. And earlier this year, the recent Casey review on the situation of grooming gangs in the UK, it confirmed everybody's suspicions. The whistleblowers, the girls themselves, who, you know, they've been ignored for a long time, and the fact that it's two-tier policing, two-tier government. Ordinary British white girls, vulnerable white girls, have been ignored, and you know, some of them even been arrested. Even the, I mean, if you listen to some of the stories, it's difficult to believe, understand what's going on. What are the police up to? I mean, the Casey review, I mean, it reflects terribly on the police and the justice system. It really does. The social care, the social services, they all need to hang their heads in shame. And, you know, if the Casey review and there's an inquiry, a national inquiry that they've been promised goes ahead, there will be people going to prison. People who've been involved in supposed to be standing up for these poor girls. You know, they're in a job. They have a job to protect the public, and they haven't been doing it because they're afraid. They're being afraid of being called racist, being afraid of you know, what the Muslim communities would react, how they would react, and they say, oh well, we can't say that because it will ruin social cohesion, and so you sacrifice these poor working class vulnerable white girls on an industrial scale in the thousands, and it's been done over decades. It's difficult to believe, difficult to get my head around it. So anyway, thought I'd say a little bit about that, and that question, why is this picture, of all the pictures that I produce, resonating the most with people? Why? Anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.